Welcome back to Breakfast. Iranian state TV's confirmed the death of President Ebrahim Raisi after his helicopter crashed in northwestern Iran. The foreign minister, a key figure in the Gaza war ceasefire talks, was among 8 others killed in the crash. Robert Patman is a professor of international relations at the University of Otago and he joins us now. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Robert. Can you tell me why is this significant for the rest of the world and for New Zealand?
Well, Iran has, since about 2003 onwards, has established itself as a major regional player, and has become the major adversary of Israel. It has supported Hamas, it has supported the Houthis in Yemen, and has supported Hezbollah in Lebanon. And in addition, globally, it's played a key role in supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and so it's become quite a significant foreign policy player. It has adversarial relations with the West. At the same time, domestically, there's been signs of mounting protest in recent years and also grave economic problems. So it's a bit of the foreign policy side of things have been much more successful than the domestic side.
How significant a figure was Raisi in all of this, and what will his legacy be?
Well, he was a hardline conservative. He was very close to the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and he was, in a sense, number 2 in the regime, a very important player. And there's going to be some regrouping now in the domestic situation in Iran because they've just lost their president, the number 2 person in the regime, the clerical regime. They've also lost their foreign minister, Abdollahian. And so it's quite a momentous shock for the regime. It's going to be interesting to see. We just heard that there'll be 5 days of mourning, and we also know that there'll be elections for the vacant presidency on the 28th of June.
What's the likelihood of seeing a change in, like you say, the hardline conservative approach to things, if indeed there is even an appetite for it?
A lot will depend on the domestic situation, and I think the other thing we have to keep in mind here, we still don't know exactly the circumstances in which the president and the foreign minister lost their lives. And the investigation will show whether it was purely an accident, which I think many people suspect it was. But if there was domestic foul play, that is, it was infighting within the regime, or whether it was international foul play, that obviously could have both have reverberations for Iran's current foreign policy. It's got to be quite clear. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, he's the one who sets the strategic contours of the policy backed by the Republican Guard. So I wouldn't, in the short term, expect any changes in Iranian foreign policy.
The fact that the foreign minister was also on board this helicopter and died as well, does that make it more significant, the fact that they're effectively losing 2 key figures? Yeah,
I mean, I don't think we should underestimate the impact in terms of disrupting the government. And it has led to some speculation that this might not be purely an accident, simply because of the significance of the 2 people killed. What is quite interesting from a security point of view is that the Iranian regime saw nothing wrong with putting 2 key figures in the same helicopter when they were part of, a travelling party of 3 helicopters. So that was extraordinary, in my view, to put 2 key figures in the same helicopter.
What effect do you think it might have on the approach to the conflict in Gaza now?
Very difficult to read in the long term. In the short term, I wouldn't expect any great change. Iran has been a strong supporter of Hamas, and I don't think it will be taking a backward step. If anything, given what's just happened, it may be, in the short term, determined to show that this regime and its stance internationally has not been shaken by these events. If anything, they may double down in the short term. But in the long term, where, even obviously the June the 28th, when there's a new president, new president, I should say, that might make a difference. But whoever comes in is going to have to be acceptable to the supreme leader, Khamenei. So that's going to be, on the face of it, it's difficult to see without domestic change, how the foreign policy is going to change significantly at the moment.
Do you imagine there'll already be someone that the Supreme Leader has in mind for this position, given the fact that elections happen pretty quickly afterwards?
I assume so. I mean, I think to some degree the parameters of the job are set by the top leadership. Raisi was known to be very close to Khamenei, the Supreme Leader, and for ambitious people within the Iranian political system, that may have made him a target. You know, he was seen as the successor to Khamenei, who is 85 now. Raisi was about 63, I believe. So if he became elevated, that may have thwarted someone else's ambitions. But this is speculation on my part. But it's definitely a huge blow for Iran in the short term, in terms of having to concentrate on domestic affairs for a while, reassure its population. And this is a country, by the way, has got severe economic problems and a backdrop of domestic protest.
Professor Robert Patman from Otago University, always a pleasure to have your insights on the show.
Thank you.